Hello, I'm a 15-year-old girl who was taken away from my mom by the courts when I was in 6th grade. That was over 3 years ago. Now I'm in 9th grade and I was recently taken away from my mom again, but then given 50-50 custody. However, along the way, I've been wronged greatly by the court system. Starting with the fact of why I was taken away from my mom in the first place. I was taken away because they accused my mom of parental alienation. They had no reason for saying this except for that my dad had more money than my mom, and because my mom accused my father of hurting us, and my sister and I would also tell teachers, friends, and our lawyer and psychologist, thinking that that was what you were supposed to do, about when my dad would hurt us. And so I was taken away and sent to, I live in California, I was sent to my aunt's ranch in Oregon for spring break, and then for a neutral time, and then given back to my dad. And then I was only given 1 day notice of this. And then later on, my dad would still hurt us while we were at his house for that time. So I continued telling my psychologist and lawyer about this, and they both independently told me, stop telling people. If you keep telling people about when your dad hurts you, you won't be able to see your mom. The only way that you can get back to see your mom is if you stop telling. And luckily I did not buy that, and I just continued telling people and reaching out to people. I stopped talking to my psychologist, really, my lawyer. I never told them anymore that much because they just get upset at me, but I would tell teachers and friends and my mom still. And then, so that went on for a long time. It was supposed to just happen for a little bit, and then I would get back with my mom 50-50. It was supposed to take like a month or two, but it was almost 3 years later, and nothing I was at every Wednesday and every other weekend with my mom, and that was the highest point we had been at. So then, we even had to go to supervision with my mom for a lot of the time, and it was just horrible with the supervisor there. We'd be in our house and having dinner, and they would just be sitting there looking at us. I couldn't really talk to my mom about anything. If I had something troubling me, I couldn't just sit down and talk to her about it because there'd be a stranger in the room listening and taking notes, which was kind of creepy. So then the 1st of February this month, my parents went back to court for the umpteenth time, and and then I was taken away from my mom again. They thought that I didn't love my dad enough, but so they decided that taking me away from my mom again, this time it would work. We are going to go to a neutral place. Which was going to be my dad's house, but him out of the house, and his girlfriend who lives with us would be the only adult in the house. And then 2 weeks with her, then 2 weeks with my dad, and then they would try supervise. Needless to say, my sister and I, by this point, were completely fed up by the whole court system thing. So we refused, and then they tried everything to make us. The judge called us in to tell us the orders, and there was no doubt in her mind that we were not going to follow those. I mean, there's no way that she could have thought that we'd actually follow them. So that night we went home with our mom. We got in the car and drove off after a long, stressful time. And then after that, I went back and my dad was trying to get a restraining order on my mom so she couldn't see us. And if she was seen so far away from us, she could get arrested. So to prevent that from happening, my sister and I went and we went to one of my friend's house, who was really nice to let us in, and she'd drive us to school every day and everything. And then after a while, we finally went back to my mom's because the threat of the restraining order went away. My sister hasn't gone back once to my dad's because since the last time when she was sent to Polanski's, which is a center for abused children, I mean, that was the last time she was at my dad's. To be in the same room at like a school event with my dad. She has to walk out. It's just too stressful and brings back too many bad memories. So she couldn't go back. So then her parents went back to court, and we really thought that it would be bad because they had been following the orders and everything, and the judge was really mad at us. But actually, the court, out of the blue, just ordered 50-50, for which we were really happy and grateful for. But yeah, now, I mean, my parents are still in court. The 50-50 orders are final, so that's good. But I mean, I go to a private school. My dad's not paying for it next year, even though it's court ordered to. He actually stopped paying this year, and also just it's an ongoing battle. My dad will find anything to fight about. He doesn't want us in the house. He doesn't care if we're there. I mean, he's tried to send us to some correction facility in Utah, and you have to remember that you're talking about two girls who have never had sex, never done drugs, never smoked, never drunk, and get really high grades, really studious, like barely even had time to hang out with friends because we're studying so hard, and he wanted to send us to a correction facility. Another thing he thought of was boot camp once, but that died off with his the first girlfriend that moved in. She moved out, that kid moved out too. But also was fostering. He tried to get us into the fostering system. And yet, he would be asking the police, like, can you just take them? Can you just take them? And the police would be like, no, just get out of court and give them to your ex-wife if you really don't care about them. But then in court, he'd act like he was that caring father who just wanted a relationship with his daughter. And the court just bought it. I mean, they only saw one side of him, and it was the side where he loves his kids. But I mean, he's just out there to get back at my mom. I mean, the other day he said, I don't want you here if you're being that destructive. I was like, okay, I'm going to go over to mom. And he's like, no, I don't want you there. So he didn't want me with him. He just doesn't want me with my mom. He still, like, I told him one time, just get over the fact that my mom divorced you. Grow up already. That happened when I was in 4th grade. I'm now in 9th grade. And he said, it's not that she divorced me, it was that she divorced